Have you ever wondered how to make bone broth with the Jiggle?
Today we're going to show you how to make bone broth for your dog and cat and get that jiggle.
Before we get started, let's talk about the benefits of bone broth for dogs and cats. You're probably very familiar with the benefits of bone broth for humans, but it is also incredibly awesome to be supplementing your pet food with bone broth for many reasons. So let's get straight to that.
So the first benefit of bone broth is going to be digestion.
Exactly. So bone broth is very rich in gelatin and collagen, and supplemented to your pet's food, it will help heal and soothe the digestive tract of your dog and cat. The amino acids that are found in bone broth also support the growth of beneficial bacteria in your dog's gut. So if you're already feeding a probiotic or a probiotic supplement to your pet, adding bone broth to your pet's food is going to help support that beneficial probiotic bacteria even further. Here's a tip, okay? So especially if you're feeding dry food to your dog and cat, soaking the dry food in bone broth is an incredible tip that will make the food that you're feeding more bioavailable to your dog and cat, because by nature they are used to eating a diet that is high in moisture. So by adding bone broth to the diet, you're literally adding moisture back to the diet, and on top of that, all the benefits that bone broth has to offer.
So the second reason you'll want to feed bone broth to your cat or dog is going to be because it supports joint health. And bone broth actually contains an abundance of nutrients, and it's high in glucosamine, chondroitin, and collagen, which all has been found to support the joint health of our pets.
This helps to reduce inflammation in the joints, and because of that, it's also a really amazing addition for senior pets or aging dogs.
So the third reason you're going to want to feed bone broth to your cat or dog is because it supports the immune system. Bone broth contains an excellent source of vitamins and minerals. It's high in zinc, calcium, and magnesium, and this is particularly important during times of stress or illness because it helps to support the immune system and helps to fight off any potential infections.
Last but not least, bone broth is an excellent way to hydrate your dog. I already mentioned it earlier, especially if you're feeding dry food to your dog and cat. Hydrating that dry food with bone broth is such an incredible way to just get more hydration to your pet, and also especially for cats, honestly, because cats can be chronically dehydrated on dry food. Rehydrating the dry food is so important for cats. And if you have picky eaters usually love bone broth as well, so it helps to entice your dog and cat to eat as well. I think that's about it. Those are the most important benefits of bone broth. Those are the most important reasons why we recommend everyone feed bone broth. And I think now let's get to it and make some bone broth.
With the Jiggle.
With the Jiggle, exactly. All right, so all you need to make bone broth is you need a good source of bones. So preferably free-range, outdoor reared, pasture-raised bones. If you can, organic, but honestly pasture-raised is like the most important for us. What we look for, it's best to have a mix of poultry bones, like joint bones, and ruminant, like knuckle bones, things like that. Today, we are going to make bone broth with duck feet. Pasture-raised duck feet. All you need is a good source of bones, you need apple cider vinegar, and you need water. So bottled water, not tap water. Personally, we like to add some superfoods into our bone broth as well, so you're gonna be seeing us adding things like turmeric, ginger, and some mushrooms that we have over here. We're gonna show you, but you don't have to do that. You can just do it with the feet or with whatever bones you're taking.
So the reason we're actually using poultry bones is because poultry bones will actually contain a lot more of the cartilage, where you're gonna be finding all of this collagen and the nutrients that actually help to create the jiggle. So we actually found that using poultry bones actually helps to get that jiggle a lot more than when using beef bones. So here we have duck feet, and we're going to be adding that into our pot.
This is 600 grams of duck feet, and now we're going to be adding bottled water to this, and we're going to be adding just enough for this to be covered. All right, so now we're going to be adding apple cider vinegar to this bone broth. This will help extract the nutrients out of the joints even more. And we're going to be adding 4 tablespoons.
1, 2, 3, 4. Ding, 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 ding.
Okay, so now you would be good to go if that's all you want to add. That's completely fine. Now we do like to add some medicinal mushrooms to our bone broth because it just gives that extra punch and the extra health benefits as well. So we have some chaga here. This is for everyone who cares. This is how the chaga looks actually. And some shiitake mushrooms here. Yeah, so we're just going to be adding this to our bone broth.
So the next ingredients that we're gonna add to our bone broth is going to be ginger. Ginger also helps to support the joints in our selves and our pets. So I'm just gonna pop a few of these in here, not many. So the next ingredient we're gonna actually add is going to be turmeric. Turmeric has so many health benefits. It supports joint health and so much more. And we actually have a YouTube video on the benefits of turmeric and how to make golden paste. So make sure you click the link up there to find out the benefits of turmeric. We're gonna be adding this to our bone broth for more additional benefits and nutrition, just a few pieces. And now we're ready to go. We're gonna make the most awesome bone broth that you can make.
All right, so now we're basically going to heat this up. I like to heat it up to just before it boils. And then I turn down the temperature and I leave it like this for between 8 to 24 hours. Like I've done bone broth before for 24 hours. I've just let it sit on the stove on very low heat. We make this in our regular pot and you can definitely do that. You don't need a crock pot. If you have one, of course it's great. But a tip, if you make this on your stove, sometimes even if you have the heat on the very lowest, sometimes it might still be too much. It might still be a boil. What I do in the situation is I turn it all the way down on low and then I take it half off the heat base so that it's only half on there. And that's enough for me. Up to 24 hours, I leave it there and then you get a great, nice bone broth. Basically, the secret to the jiggle is number 1, using poultry joint bones in your bone broth. Number 2, using just enough water just to cover the bones. And then number 3, using apple cider vinegar in your bone broth. Awesome. So now we are going to just put the top on here, let it sit for up to 24 hours, and then we will show you what the outcome is. All right, so 24 hours later, and we have strained the bone broth
from the pot
into a glass container. So there's no bones in here anymore. All the bones are in the trash because dogs and cats are not allowed to eat cooked bones. So please never ever feed cooked bones to your dogs and cats. The bones from the bone broth go in the trash. And left is just the broth. We put it into a glass container and it goes into the fridge overnight. So right now, this bone broth does not jiggle, but after 8 hours in the fridge, this will jiggle.
Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle.
Jiggle, 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 jiggle.
And that is how you get the jiggle. So after you take your bone broth out of the fridge, your bone broth may have a thin layer of fat or it may have a thick layer of fat. So in our case, we got a thin layer of fat, so we don't really need to scrape anything off. But if you do get a thick layer, then you can simply just take your spoon and just skim the fat off the very top, because that's where the fat is going to be at. And you can just chuck that in the trash. But in our case, we got a very, very small amount of fat on ours, so we're just gonna keep that. And we're going to put these in some molds and freeze them because it's a lot that we just got out of this.
In regards to the fat, like this mostly happens when you use the marrow bones or beef bones that have a lot of fat. Those bone broths will have a thick layer of fat, so don't feed that to your dog. Yeah, so now we're just going to actually portion the bone broth. This is just a preference from us because it's a lot.
So that we just have enough for it to last us a few days. And then when we're ready to get more, we just take another one out of the freezer and let it defrost, and then we feed that to our dog.
Thank you everyone so much for watching. We hope that you make this recipe at home. You have lots of fun making it because your dog and cat will definitely love it. So many great benefits.
Let us know in the comment section what ingredients you will use in your bone broth, because we love to know what you guys are adding to your foods, because it makes the feeding time so much more exciting. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel because you are able to help us help more pets. Thank you so much for tuning in. See ya.
Bye.